Hello, this is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. Please hit that like button, share, and subscribe. Today's video is regarding one of the pieces of body camera. Now, it took me a while, but I actually had to fill out the FOIA request, and they finally sent me the raw video from the cameras, or at least the version that the media got. And I saw that there was a video out there that really showed more detail when you see Thomas Crooks first get onto the roof and come down. It's just moments after he first got onto the roof. He went onto another roof and then dropped down. And you see him in this body camera footage right here. And he's really small in the background. But the version that you can get when you order them is much clearer. For example, I tried to do a screen record, and that's one of the problems when people do screen recording. Every time it's recorded from one person to the next, you lose a significant amount of information. And even though there's actually websites out there that would put the videos in full out there, by the time you record it, you've lost that little bit of information. While you could still see a blob moving around, you couldn't really see exactly what was going on, and you actually couldn't even see him in different portions of the video when he's walking along the roof. But now you can see him virtually the entire way. And this took me hours and hours and hours to make because I hand stabilized it. Each frame I would adjust manually. So what I did was I took a erasable marker and put it on the screen and put it on the square part of the building. And then each frame I would keep that corner in the corner. You know, sometimes the horizon line shifts a little bit, but it's pretty clear. And then I applied stabilization afterwards in some of the later clips. So you'll see it like 4 different times, but it's absolutely incredible what you can see. You see him jumping. He kind of lets himself down. The reason you can't see his whole body being let down is because of the angle of the shot. So let's go over this right now. So here is the main video. This is what it generally would have looked like. See how there's no movement at all? But right here you can see this is the adjustment I was doing manually. See how the edges there? How you're seeing that? That's how wobbly the video is, but I stabilized it manually. Took me, God, I don't know, hours and hours because it's 30 frames a second. And I just kept stabilizing it and stabilizing it. And you can see in the background, you see him in that little V point right over here. At this point, he's standing up. You could even make out when he kind of threw the backpack up on the other roof and then climbed up. Now he's picking up the backpack and he's moving. Now, if you look carefully, if you have a big screen TV or zoom in with a cell phone, you can actually see him moving across. Right there. And he's just about he's in front of that second-story building that the snipers were in. He's running by and he's just about, then he goes past the corner and then he goes down too low you can't see, and now you can see on the left the police cars coming in that we've seen the view from those videos. Now here it is zoomed in a little bit. See how he came down and he threw the backpack up, and then he gets on the roof, and then it looks like he stays still for a while to see if anybody maybe spotted him, kind of peeking. And the visual that he has, we'll see here in a minute. There's a guy named Spa Guy out there that makes drone videos on this and shows pretty clearly what you're looking at. So there he is. He picks up the backpack and you clearly see it. And you can see him in white in front of that tree there, and he's moving to the left. And then I have the square box kind of generally following where he's at. And you can see him, see how it's distorting the building, and then boom, passes out into the corner. You can see his silhouette now, and then he disappears. And then this one is zoomed in all the way, and then I do this one more time with a filter on it because you can even see it better. But he's now on the roof, and sometimes when it's zoomed in too far you start getting a little too pixelated. So let me know what you think. I almost think it's easier to see on that last one, but perhaps on a cell phone, this would be better for some people. So in a moment here, he's going to stand up. You can see him just pick up the backpack, clearly. And you can see him moving in front of the trees that are way off in the background. And there he goes. about to pass in front of the second-story building. You can make him out. It's a little bit of distortion there, and then boom, he passes, and then disappears out of sight. Now this next one, I put a filter on there. Maybe it'll be a little bit better for some of you. See that? Throws the backpack up, jumps up, and kind of looks like he's staying low for now. Almost like he's laying down, getting a sight, and he's like putting his head up in the air. And now it looks like he's standing up. And then in a moment he picks up the backpack. He might be on his knees right there. Yeah, that's exactly what he was. And now he stands up and he has the backpack. And now you see him in front of the trees there. And you can see him moving right in this area. And then he's going to pass the corner and then down. Now I used some of the clips from the Spa Guy's video. And one thing that's kind of interesting is in the documents it talks about how there is a bench. I think it's right. Let's see, let me get to the right one. This one right here. A bench right here, a picnic table, right? And then he heads off in that direction. But the picnic table is not right here. It's over in this area. I mean, it's not incredibly important. It's just that they didn't put that in the right place on the map. It kind of bugged me because I was looking by the side of this building and I could never see one. There's a picnic table right here, though. Right? So if we go back to the drone footage, see how the picnic table's right there? They have it right here, and there doesn't seem to be one in that area. And this is just, I'm only putting this in here to show you that information. And now here's video from his on the roof, just about where we see him. Now see off to the left there as the drone was turning there. Let's go back up and play that again. Hold on. Now right back in here, that officer walks in from the side off to the left there. And you can see, even from back here, he planned this really well. He knew that this tree was blocking the sight of the sniper, because the sniper's right behind there. So what he did was he let himself down right here, and then he threw his backpack up onto this roof and then climbed up, waited for a while, and then he moved forward. And this, they're actually pointing out things that they think might be related to him. Could also be law enforcement because they were up there later. And so that's what it looks like. He dropped down from here, and look at that right there. That's the opening where that officer was walking. So if we go up to Google Earth 3D view, it's looking right down that. So when he let himself down onto this bridge, for lack of a better term, it's at an angle like that. So let's go back up in the air here, and when he comes out and he's filming from right over here, notice how it's at an angle, and so you don't really get to see him drop down, but you do see him after he's already made it down, walks across, throws the backpack up onto the roof, and then he just runs straight across like this, and he makes it onto this one. I think that's why it looks like he kind of like ducks down, obviously, because he runs like this. And it's interesting because in the background, if we go back in that video, let's take a look back, maybe right around near the end. See that one tree and that large pole there? Let's go to Google Earth. So I think what we're looking at is, you know, when he's walking, it's probably this, like that. That's the big pole. And he, you know, because he sort of started walking out into this direction after a while, right? So let's go back to the original shot in this one, and we'll be able to see exactly what he was doing. So the officer walks out. I'll just move it forward a little bit. And it does seem like even from here, so you can see him even running in this shot here, but even from here, it's the second cell phone tower over to the right. So if we bring this back on, so it is going to be that. So it's just like this. And yes, you can see that tree in this image, and it's going to be the tree that I have it on. So it's just like that. So he runs by and then he goes down right after the tree. So let's see where that would put you. Yeah, look at that. That is right when he steps down. So he runs across. He's actually just running straight across, but it looks like he's over by that corner. But if you notice, the little bridge is right where he disappears, and that's when he went down, and then he crawled up onto the roof here, and this is where he was laying when those officers, just like a minute or so later, or a minute and a half later, climbed up, and Thomas Crooks saw him and pointed the gun. All right, so let's get back to where we were just looking at a minute ago. So we were flying right here, and there's that opening back there. So you couldn't see him as he came down on the front side there. And this is where he would have ran, just straight across. He didn't go on that little dip there. He just ran straight across. And this is what his final look would have been like. The spa guy actually filmed from the particular flat that he was in. And look how high those ridges are right there, or ribs. So he could have just easily have turned the AR-15 sideways and slid it up the bank of the roof, which isn't really that steep anyways. But the barn is right behind here that had the snipers that were facing him. There's another barn right over here that could see him, but at the time he made it onto the roof, they were actually facing the other direction. All right? So I think this is pretty interesting, and let's take a look at it from the top again. So just overall, the officer came walking like this. Crooks, who was seen on a wall that was right here, came around and eventually was spotted sitting on a bench over here. Then he went this direction. Now, the sniper that was in this building that saw him do that said he was headed towards this gas station over here. And so everybody started looking around in this area, and that's why the officer was over here. There was his 2 police cars. They kind of looked in this area and didn't see him. And I think eventually they realized he didn't really leave the area. And then Thomas Crooks then walked back here, climbed up onto the roof, and then around, then onto this roof right here. And then he dropped himself down, and then you see him throw the backpack up onto the roof here, and then he runs straight across. And in the Trump video, it looks like he's running left to right because it's the angle of the roof. So you look at, from a camera that was over here, let's put a camera that, let's just look at it from this angle. If you were on these stands here, so if you look up in the air, see he came up on the roof over here and he ran like this. So it looks like left to right. So let's just get right where it was. So it was from this position, and then these are the stands. So let's go down. And that means you could see him running from right here to right there. So it looked like he was running left to right. And I think the Trump video absolutely matches up. The time is exactly the same. And, you know, we've played that multiple times. We can play that right now if you want to.
Ryan, so we're going to bring him up for Can we bring him up for a couple of minutes?
And there you see it. He ran. It looked like he was running left to right, but he was really just running straight. But the angle of the building gives you the illusion that he was running left to right. So he came around like this, up onto the roof, and then probably came over here, climbed up onto there, then lets himself down, and then he runs straight across, and then makes his way to where he eventually shoots at former President Donald Trump, and thankfully missed him, but unfortunately killed Corey Comparatore, and he ended up, you know, critically wounding 2 others, but they have survived, thankfully. All right, so let me know in the comments what you think. Isn't it incredible that you can see that kind of detail where you see him actually throw the backpack, pick up the backpack, run all the way across, and then get onto that final bridge area And moments later, he is confronted by officers, and 37 seconds after that was the first shot, and then 15 seconds after that, Thomas Crooks was killed by a sniper on the southern barn. So, and that's the shot that Crooks took. The sniper shot was right here, and you could zoom right in like that, and then boom, he was hit. Okay? So I hope this adds some clarity and clarification. You can actually see everything on the screen. And by the way, there is no other shooter that was on the water tower nor in any of the other windows. Thomas Crooks took 8 shots, and there was a shooter on the ground somewhere that missed him, meaning a sniper or a police officer. And then the 10th shot was from the Secret Service sniper on the north barn. And I'll play all of those one more time for you guys. I won't be narrating or anything like that, but I'm going to play those, 4 different clips again, showing him getting on the roof. And let me know which one you think portrayed what he was doing the best. Was it the zoomed in one, or was it the one right before the farthest zoomed in one? Okay. Okay, so thank you all very much for watching. Leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think. And I currently don't really have much more to be discussing on this unless there's new information. I do have some more body camera footage of conversations police were having with different individuals, etc. So maybe we'll play some of that. But thank you all very much for watching. And as I always say, Until next time, be safe out there. Oh, and hit that like button right now. Boom!